Dun dun dun! What's up, everybody? It's your host, RANKDILL, and I'm joined by my co-host, Maxwell.
What's up, everybody?
Tonight we're going to do a deep dive into the UFC fight night in Singapore. It's Cowboy Cerrone versus Leon Edwards. And we're not just breaking that fight down, we're breaking it down all the way to the first fight in the undercard. So the first fight we got is Jeon Kim versus Melinda Fabiana. What you think about this, Maxwell?
Well, Jeon Kim is entering in the octagon with a 7-1 loss and 2 draws. She's 1-1 in the UFC, and her last fight was against Justine Kish, where she got a win. She's a good striker. She's taking on Melinda Fabiana, who enters with a 4 wins, 3 losses, and 2 record. And her last fight was against Ziyan Bennett when she got a draw. And she's a well-rounded fighter. I think in this one, I think Jeon Kim, she's going to be a good fighter. She's going to take her to the limit, I think.
Alright, cool, man. So you're picking Jeon Kim?
Alright, so I'm picking Jeon Kim in the second round with a KO.
Alright. Okay, well, there's no doubt about it that Jeon Kim, she's a kickboxer. She likes to go in with punches, and she has a nice gas tank on her, and she's got very crisp striking. But when you look at Melinda Fabiana, she was on the Ultimate Fighter. I believe she's on Team Taichi, and she comes out swinging hard and fast. She's really good at takedown defense. She got good knees and elbows from the clinch, and she's got out of nowhere power in her kicks. The last fight that she had, she almost finished with a kick at the end of the round, but her weakness is in grapplers, and she gets held against the fence a lot. Neither one of these girls are looking to clinch, and I expect a fun fight. So I think Jeon Kim has the more crisp striking, and I'm gonna pick her via decision. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next fight. It's Janelle Losa and Oka Sasaki. What do you think about this, Maxwell?
Well, Janelle Losa is entering with a 7-4 record, and his last fight was against Eric Shelton, in which he lost. He has a 1-2 record in the UFC, and he has great knockout power. For Oka Sasaki, he enters with a 20 wins, 5 losses, and 2 draws record. His last fight was against a really good opponent in Yushin Formiga, which he lost. He's 3-4 in the UFC. He's a 2-time Performance of the Night winner, and Yuka has a great ground game, and he's #dangerous.
You still there, Maxwell?
I'm still here.
Okay, so what's your pick, man?
My pick is going to be Oka Sasaki, and I'm picking him with the first round KO.
Alright. So, when I look at this fight, I'm looking at Janelle Demolition Man Losa. He's added a little bit of wrestling to his game lately, but he's primarily a kickboxer. He's not really an expert in any area of fighting, but he's not horrible either. He looks to counter a lot. In his last fight, he got outclassed by Eric Shelton. He kind of looked out of place in that fight, but he stayed on he stayed on his back for 2 full rounds. I'd like to see him throw more combinations and quit hanging back and looking for counters. He's kind of boring, in my opinion. He's very tall for the weight division. He likes to throw a lot of punches and pressure the fighter. He kind of reminds me of Nate Diaz, really. He's like the Japanese Nate Diaz, in my opinion. He talks a lot of shit. And he was I watched a fight with him and Wilson Hayes, and he fought well against him, but he lost in a close decision. He also hung in there against Ishihara from Miga. In my opinion, his striking was better than those guys, both of those guys, and both of them are in the top 10 in the flyweight. So I really like his fighting style, but I don't see much grappling here either. I think Oka Sasaki wins in round 2 via TKO. Who'd you pick on that one, Maxwell?
Oka Sasaki.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna keep up with it. So at the end we can go back through and see the difference in our picks. So the next fight is gonna be Vivian Pereira and Ziyan. I think that's how you say that.
Nope.
That's not what you got?
It's Matt Chanel and Noki Inquani.
Okay, I might have skipped this fight altogether. Yeah, I did. So I'm gonna let you take it, Maxwell.
Alright, I didn't do much research on him, but Matt Chanel's entered in the UFC with an 11-4 record. His last fight was against Marco Beltran with a 1-2 UFC record. That's his record currently. He has heavy hands, great submission ability, pretty good on the ground, I believe. And Noki Inquani, he's entering with an 11-0 record. He's perfect. His last fight was against Carlos John D. Thompson, in which he won. He's a good striker, and he has a really good ground game. And in this one, I'm taking Matt Chanel with a 3rd round submission win.
Matt Chanel.
Matt Chanel.
Alright, who's the other guy?
And his other name was Nokia, N-A-O-K-I-I-N-O-U-E.
O-N-I-O-U. What now? How you spell his last name?
I-N-O-U-E.
Okay. I'm going to go with him because I didn't even look at it, so that'll give us a difference in a pick there. So the next fight is going to be Vivian Pereira and Ziyan. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that.
Correct. And in this one, Vivian Pereira is 13-1. Her last fight was against Tatiana Suarez, in which she lost. She's 2-1 in the UFC. She has good striking power, and she's a very young talent. And this Yen, whatever her last name is, she's really good. She's 8-1. Her last fight was against a really good fighter, and Kaylin Kearns, in which she beat her. And she's a really good striker, in my opinion. And in this one, I am taking Vivian Pereira by decision.
Okay. On this, I've got a lot of the same breakdown as you. Her last loss was Tatiana Suarez. She's got good clinch and ground game. One of the things I saw in the Suarez fights was a lot of heart from Pereira. She kind of got whooped. She kind of got beat down. And she's only 23 years old and 1 loss. She's kind of impressive to me. She's got a really good jab. And then I looked at Yen. Her nickname is 9. And she's 8-1 overall. She comes from China Road Fighting Championship, I think is what it was called. And she'll be well, she's not making her Octagon debut, right?
Vivian?
No, the Yen.
Yen? No. Her last fight was against Kaylin Kearns.
Okay, did she win that one or no?
Yes, she's 1-0 in the UFC.
Okay. So from what I've seen, she likes to brawl a lot. And she likes to clinch and then brawl and then go back to the clinch. So, welcome to the big leagues, Yen. I'm taking also Vivian Pereira, and I think she'll control the stand up with her jab and get the clinch and wear Yen out. So I'm taking her via decision also.
Nice.
So, moving on, the next fight I've got is Shinsho Anzai and Jake Matthews. Go for it, Max.
Yes. Shinsho Anzai, he's entering with a 10-2 record. His last fight was a win against Luke Germanu. He's 2-1 in the air strike, has a good striking game. Amazing power in his hands, and he's a really good wrestler. And our boy Jake Matthews is entering with a record of 13 wins and 2 losses. His last fight was against Lee Jingaling, where he won via submission. He's 6-3 in the UFC. He's a 2-time Fight of the Night winner against Lee Jingaling and Johnny Case. Jake Matthews has awesome takedowns, great cardio, and will pressure you for days. And in this fight, I am taking Jake Matthews via decision.
All right. Okay, so Shinshu, the animal as they call him, he's a 5'7" hairy ass dude from Japan. He likes to grapple and he has a really good brawling style. The one thing that I noticed in his fights is he throws a left hook counter a lot, so Jake is going to have to look out for that. He likes to stay in the face of an opponent. He likes to pressure, and he has a way of getting out of bad positions. He's got a lot of heart too. So then you look at the Celtic kid, Matthews. He's a very good fighter. He's got KO, ground and pound. He's got 6 submission wins, and he's a grappler. He's got a loss to Kevin Lee, and it was a round 1 TKO. But I think that Jake's going to catch Shinsho in a guillotine. I think he's going to catch him going for a takedown in round 2.
Nice.
So another pick that we both picked the same guy. So we're moving on to the next fight. I've got Song Keenan versus Hector Aldana.
Alright, I didn't find much about these guys, but Song Keenan, his record is 13-4. His last fight was against Bobby Nash, which he won. He's 1-0 in the UFC. He's a good striker. Didn't find nothing on this guy, Hector Aldana. His record, he's undefeated. He's 4-0, and I believe he's making his UFC debut in this one. I am taking Song Keenan by 3rd round KO.
Okay, I've got a little bit more insight on these guys. I watched all their fights on Fight Pass that I could find, and I think I looked up Hector Aldana on YouTube, a couple of his fights too. But Song the Assassin Keenan, like you said, he's 13-4. Comes from China Road FC. That's the second person that's come from that organization. He's had a KO finish over Bobby Nash, like you said, and didn't see much from his debut. He had a nut shot and a KO in an early in round 1. It was a nut shot. It was horrible. The dude said he was okay, and then he got knocked out. But moving on, I'll go to Hector El Toro Aldana. I remember I watched this guy on YouTube. He's decent. He's a decent wrestler. He's got good ground and pound, and he is making his debut. But I'm going to take Song Keenan via nut shot and KO. Alright, so hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay, the next fight, we got Rolando D versus Shane Young.
Alright. Rolando D. His record is 9 wins, 6 losses, and 1 draw. His last fight was a win against Luigi Baroon, in which he won. He's 1-2 in the UFC. He's a really good striker, I think. And he is taking on Shane Young. His record is 11-4. His last fight was a loss against Alexander Volkanovski, and he's 0-1 in the UFC. Shane Young is a really good fighter. He's got a great work ethic, and I believe he's got a gas tank to go on for days. And in this one, I have officially made my decision, and I am picking Shane Young by decision.
Alright. So Rolando D has had some bad luck. He lost the first fight. He lost was due to a closed eye, so it was doctor stoppage. Torito Ishihara outclassed him in his other fight. He's tough as fuck though. Ishihara laid into him for 3 rounds and he didn't quit. He looked kind of out of place in both fights. Again, the man can take a shot though. And then you go to Shane Young here. His debut was in a catchweight fight actually. It was at 150 pounds against, like you said, Alexander Volkanovski. The thing about that fight was, to me, it was kind of a strange fight. I think it was like a late place fight. So Volkanovski is a lot bigger than him in that fight, even though they weighed in at 150. I'm thinking that Volkanovski cut down a lot more than he did. But I did see spurts of greatness from the guy. He's a good kickboxer, and he's got really crisp strikes. He's got a few submission wins also. But Jesus Christ, dude. His nickname is Sugar. How many Sugars do we have in the UFC? But I'm going to still pick Sugar Shane Young via decision. Although, Rolando D is a tough mug. So, yeah, another pick that we picked the same guy. The next fight is Felipe Arantes versus Song Yangadong. And let's just move away from his name there.
Alright, Felipe Artes has a record of 18 wins, 9 losses, and 1 draw. His last fight was a loss against Josh Emmett. He's 5-5-1 in the UFC. He has a performance of the night against Yves Jabon. His biggest wins came against Maximo Blanco and Godfrey Pepe. He's fought some really good opponents in Aria Alcantara, Andre Fili, Eric Perez, and Josh Emmett. Felipe is very athletic. He's got strong kicks and fast hands. And he's taking on a guy named Song Yangadong. His record is 12 wins and 3 losses. His last fight was a win against Bharat Canadair. He's 1-0 in the UFC, and he has a one-time fight performance of the night win in the UFC. He's a good boxer, has amazing, and I'm going with Felipe Artes with the second round KO.
Alright, cool. The Felipe Artes, he's a tough dude. He's got a good ground game. He likes to throw some kicks, and he throws those kicks and then he sets up a takedown. He throws a lot of submission attempts and ground and pound. But then I'm going to move on to Song Yadong. He's 20 years old. He looked very impressive in his UFC debut when he choked out Bharat Canadair in round 1. He throws some crazy shit, and he's very in your face. He's really fun to watch. I'm taking Song Yadong and TKO round 1.
Ooh.
So there's a difference. Alright, the next fight is Torito Ishihara versus Petr Jeon.
Alright. Torito Ishihara is entering with a record of 11 wins, 5 losses, and 2 draws. His last fight was a loss against Jose Quinoza. He's 3-3-1 in the UFC. He had a performance of the night against Horacio Gutierrez. He lost to two really good fighters in Gray Maynard and Artem Lobov. He has a good left cross. He's taking on Petr Yan, whose record's 8-1, and I believe this is Peter's UFC debut. And he's got good speed and really good cardio, which can help him in the later rounds. And in this one, I am taking Torito Ishihara by decision.
Alright, good shit, man. Torito Ishihara, man, he is a monster. He does have a loss to Great Maynard, like you said, and he got smothered on the ground for 3 rounds in that fight. He came back and after that fight, and he dominated Rolando D, which is in this card also. He's got a good pace and a good ground and pound, like I said, and he showed in his last fight against Guyanez that he has better defense against wrestlers now. He lost in a close decision in that fight also. Petr No Mercy Yan is from ACB. I think that's the Russian fighting organization. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's the one that's got all the controversy surrounding it, though. He's got a good wrestler, obviously. He's from Russia. And he has a KO win with only 1 loss. I think Ishihara has a hard time with grapplers, so I'm going to go with Yan via decision.
Nice.
Alright, so going on from there, it's Lee Jingalang versus Taichi Abe.
Alright. In this one, Lee Jingalang, he's got a record of 14 wins and 5 losses. His last fight was a loss against Jake Matthews, and he's 6-3 in the UFC. He has a performance of the night win against Zach Ottawa. a fight of the night win against Franco. He's a good wrestler. He's got great jiu-jitsu, so if he gets you on the ground, he's pretty much going to dominate you. And he is taking on the Taichi Abe, whose record is 6-1. His last fight was a loss against Luke Jamunu. He's 1-1 in the UFC, and Taichi has a really good stand-up game. And in this one, I am taking Lee Jangalang, first round KO.
All right. Okay, well, Lee lost his last fight against Jake Matthews, but before that, he was on a 4-fight win streak, and 3 of those were KOs. He's got nice footwork, man. That's one thing I did notice about him, and he's got KO power. But moving on from that, we're going to go to Taichi Abe. He's another up-and-comer from Pancrase MMA, and he was on a 6-fight win streak with 4 KOs until he lost his last fight via decision against Luke Jamunu, which was a decent fight. He's got heavy hands and a gas tank for days. I'm going to throw this into my MMA Math calculator, and I'm going to give it to Taichi Abe in a fun slugfest via KO in round 1. So another different pick there. The next fight we have is Jessica Rose Clark versus Jessica I. Max will take it away, brother.
In this one, Jessie Rose Clark got a record of 9 wins and 4 losses. Her last fight was a win against, unfortunately, Paige VanZant. She's undefeated in the UFC with 2 wins. Her key wins in her career are against Paige VanZant and Beck Rollins. She's fast, Jessica Rose Clark is, and has really good footwork. She's taking on a fighter named Jessica I, whose record is 12 wins and 6 losses. Her last fight was a win against Kalandra Fiera, and her record's pretty bad in the UFC right now. She's 2-5 and with 1 no contest. She's lost to some really good women, such as Alexis Davis, Misha Tate, Juliana Pena, Sarah McMahon, and Betch Correa. She dropped to a more natural weight for her to the flyweight division, and she's very consistent in her fights. And I believe this is the woman who got her ear busted open pretty bad in one of her fights a couple years ago. And unfortunately in this one I am going with Jessie Rose Clark by decision.
Very good pick there. Yeah, like you said, Jessie Clark, she beat Paige VanZant in her last fight. But if you go back to that fight and watch it, Paige broke her arm in the first round, I believe.
Did break her arm in the first round, yes.
So, I mean, I think that might have changed the fight a lot for Paige. Which I'm not a big dick rider at Paige like you are. But you know what else is impressive of the way that she beat Beck Rollins? She beat her at her own game, really. And she's really well rounded. Jessica I is a well-known fighter. I mean, a lot of people know who she is, but what do they know her for? I really don't know. The only notable win that she had in her record was against Leslie Smith, but it was from an unfortunate doctor stoppage. So after that, she lost 4 in a row, and then she got a decision win over Kalandra Ferreira. She's only had 1 finish in her whole career, and the rest is decision. Hell, even her losses were decision. So I don't really know. This one's a toss-up for me. But Jessica I is such a boring fighter, it's hard for me to even give her a pick. So I'm going to go with Jessica Rose Clark. But yeah, guess what? Decision. So it's going to be a boring fight in my opinion.
Yep.
Alright, the next one, best fight on the card in my opinion, Ovince St. Preux against Tyson Pedro.
Alright. And in this one, Ovince St. Preux, better known as OSP, has a record of 22 wins and 11 losses. He's coming off a shocking loss to Ari Latifi. He's 10-6 in the UFC, and he is the master of the Von Flug choke. He's a 4-time Performance of the Night winner. Some of these are Corey Anderson, Mauricio Shogun Hua, and Nikita Krylov. He's a 1-time Fight of the Night winner. OSP, he's a great wrestler, good condition, great striking. Man, he's just a monster. And he's taking on Tyson Pedro. He's coming in with a record of 7 wins and 1 loss. His last fight was a win against Saparberg Safarovan. He's 3-1 in the UFC. Tyson Pedro is a one-time performance of the night winner against Khalil Roundtree Jr. Pedro also had a big loss to Ariel Latifi. And Tyson has got amazing boxing. He's got very good jiu-jitsu. This is going to be the fight of the night, folks. I honestly believe. And in this one, I am taking Ovant St. Peru, second round submission.
Nice. This is really hard for me. Owen St. Preux, like you said, he's got those bomb. They should be called the St. Preux chokes now. But OSP, like you said, he's very dangerous. He's got a couple of wins via head kick and a couple of wins due to the St. Preux choke. So he's very well rounded, and he's out of nowhere power. He's a local Tennessee boy, so it's really hard for me to root against him. He gets tired quick though, man. But he's dangerous into the well into round 3. But it's a tough thing for me. Both of them actually lost to Ira Latifi, and I don't think that's very surprising, in my opinion. He's got really good wrestling, and I think that's what's going to hurt him in the long run, is fighting these wrestlers, you know.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm going to restart this video real quick. We went a little longer than I expected. But let's go on to Tyson Pedro. Ever since he made his USA debut, I've been on the Tyson Pedro dick train. You know what I'm saying? He's super impressive, and he's only got that one loss to Ira Latifi. All the other fights that he's had he's won with either a submission or a KO in the first round. So it's time to step up to the upper echelon of competition. And this is what I think is going to happen. I think Tyson's going to take it a little slow in the first round and get OSP a little tired. And then he's going to get the KO win in the second. So, another one that we have different picks on. So now, it's time to go to the main event. We got Donald Cowboy Cerrone against Leon Edwards. What you got, Max?
Oh, yeah. Donald Cowboy Cerrone has got a record of 33 wins and 16 losses. Last fight was a win against Yancy Medeiros, and he was going for a record, folks. If he wins, he'll have 21 wins. But right now he's sitting at 20 wins and 7 losses. He's an 8-time Fight of the Night winner with wins against Paul Kelly, Melvin Dillard. 2-time Submission of the Night winner against Evan Dunham and Dennis Siver. 5-time Performance of the Night winner against Rick Story, Patrick Cote, Alex Ovalera, Jim Miller, Innocent Barbosa. A 3-time KO of the Night winner against Andre Martinez and Charles Ovalera. Boy has no quitting Cowboy. And like you said, he will fight any place, anytime, anywhere against anybody. He's best at his Muay Thai. His Muay Thai is his best thing. And this guy is crazy. He is taking on Leon Edwards with a record of 15 wins and 3 losses. His last fight was a win against Peter Sabatu. He's 7-2 in the UFC. Leon Edwards has a 1-time Performance of the Night winner against Seth Badzinski, and Edwards is a great striker. He's got excellent striking. But unfortunately, I'm taking the man, Cowboy Cerrone, 4th round knockout.
Alright, cool, man. This one, alright, before I even start my breakdown of the fight, I could say it could go either way with these guys. But Cerrone, he looks super impressive against Yancy Medeiros. Like you said, Yancy was coming off that crazy fight with Cowboy Oliveira, but was on a 4-fight loss streak before that. His biggest loss was to Till, who shocked the world when he knocked him out in the first round. Cerrone's got a
nose in the first round.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, like, I knew that Till was supposed to be good, but I don't even think Cerrone watched tape on him. He even said that he didn't watch tape on him or anything, which is crazy. The way that Cerrone will just take a fight at any time. It might be the way he used to do it. I don't think he'd do it like that no more, man. Everybody's good. But let's go back to it. Cerrone has a well-rounded game. Obviously, he's got ground and pound, check. Muay Thai, check. Submissions, check. He's tied up for the most wins in the UFC as of now. And he's one of the most active fighters on the roster who doesn't give a fuck who he's fighting. So he's going to be looking to fight number 13, Leon Edwards. And Leon Edwards is on a 5-fight win streak. One of those was by KO, one by sub, 3 by decision. And his last loss was to Kamaru Usman via decision. Now that's the key right there. Kamaru is a beast. I think he outclasses both these guys still. To me, he's one of the best in that division. I'd love to see Kamaru Usman until we did that on the top 10 fights we'd like to see in UFC actually. So he's got nice submissions and KO power, and he likes to start quick and in your face. This is the kind of chemistry you need to make a great fight. Cowboy is a slow starter though. So
yep.
And another thing about Cowboy, he doesn't really do well overseas. I've noticed that about him. So with the slow start and it being overseas, it's in Singapore, right?
In Singapore.
It's really tough for me to take this, but I'm going to take Leon Edwards in round 2 TKO.
Nice.
So we got a couple of different picks. I'm going to go back through our picks real quick. In the first fight, Jeon Kim, me and Max will both picked her. In the second fight, me and Max will both pick Viviane Pereira. Me and Max both picked Jake Matthews. Me and Max both picked Son Keenan. And me and Max both picked Shane Young. Okay, on the next fight, it was Felipe Arentes, and Max picked him. And Song Yandong, I picked him. And then in the Maxwell picked Torito Ishihara, and I picked Petr Yan. And Maxwell picked Li Jingling, and I picked Deacha Abe. And me and Maxwell both picked Jessica Rose Clark over Jessica I. Maxwell picked Oven St. Preux, and I picked Tyson Pedro. And then Maxwell picked Donald Cerrone, and I picked Leon Edwards. So that's it, man. That's all the fights. We broke them down. And also, before I let you go, the reason I did a lot of mirror matches in this fight video, in the background, if you're even paying attention to the video in the background, it's because a lot of these fighters wouldn't in the game, and this is something we like to do. We like to have like a simulation going in the background. That way, you guys have something to watch. You know, even if the fight on the game doesn't go the way that we pick it, you know, it's just something I like to do for you guys. So yeah, man, that's UFC Fight Night in Singapore. It's Leon Edwards and Cowboy Cerrone gonna throw down. I think I think this card's kind of underrated. I think a lot of these guys are unknown. It's gonna be some fun fights, a lot of brawls. You know, should be a fun early morning of fights.
Yep.
So Max, you got anything else to add, man?
Other than this, when we did our picks, we're doing something new. If we pick the winner, if we pick the person who wins, we get a point. We pick a round, we get 2 points, and if we pick the situation by KO, submission, decision, you'll get 3 points. So we're going to do a award system now.
Are you keeping up with all this, Maxwell?
I'm keeping up with it.
Okay, well, what I want you to do is after the fights are over, in the comments, drop our score down there. We didn't really do that in the first fight. I think I went 8-3 or 8-4. I think you went something like that. I don't know, man. When I went back at it, I think you got 2 of them right. So, but from now on, we are going to keep score. So check the comments after the fights and see who won the pick'ems.
Oh yeah, boys.
So I guess that's all from me and Maxwell. We're gonna say goodnight and thank you for watching.
Peace, everybody.
Hey Maxwell,
Hey,
I love you.
love you.